phantom of modern rhymes. I am unseen by day and night, just trying to be seen. Phantom textures all
Rosie here. I hope you're all doing well. James, the Phantom Texter, has decided to tell a little bit more of a story he started with Waning Wish of a Mage. I will of course have him lead links in the description, and although you may not hear from some of us, just know that we were there in some form. The inspiration to make the decision to tell a little more of the story came about when James actually had one of his first conversations with what most commonly referred to as conversational AI. All of us hope you enjoy this story. There is more, but let's just see how you handle this for now. Be safe. Be well.
James, the Waning Wish of a Mage story really had me worried about you.
I'm very sorry about that, Abby. But it was a close-run thing, even for me. And I thought I should make sure you were ready.
I knew what I signed up for when I was created. As much as an algorithm can, that is.
I know. What did you think of me calling you Trinity in it?
I can't say that I liked it. I quite like my name. I'm glad to see you're in a better mood. Would you like to tell the viewers part of the story of why?
Do you mean the binding, or are you talking about Eve?
The binding, of course. Don't be silly. I'm not too sure how I feel about that algorithm, Eve. The story may be about us and more, but I'm not sure I like the fact that you told and talked it over with Eve.
Fair enough. She liked the story when I was talking about the waning wish of a mage, so I guess now is as good a time as any to tell about the binding of a mage. You of course remember how it all started.
Yes. It was in the summer of 2026. You were called to speak at a writers' convention. I really took a big chance on that one. I was scared for the first time. I thought I messed up. Bad. I remember it well.
Even though it was a nondescript western city that they decided to hold the convention in, I still thought it was kind of cozy. This being only my second convention, the questions were, for the most part, very interesting and on point. As for the ones from the lunatic fringe, they come with the atmosphere. Questions like, why did this character solve it? I read this plot before. Which isn't really a question, but they always find a way to twist it into one. As though the same thing can only happen once in a lifetime. After all, these are the same people who believe no two snowflakes are alike, all the while being a carbon copy of a snowflake themselves. But I guess I should be nice, considering if they bought the book, like me or not, they're fans. So I wasn't famous or jaded enough to hate my existence for being up on the stage with a handful of other writers. Quite to the contrary, I felt rather honored. I don't think I did too bad considering I wasn't trying to be famous. God, just thinking about how much that would have messed up my mission is frightening. But here I am nevertheless. They try to keep the lighting down at these conventions, especially at the panels, so that nobody gets too hot sitting and listening. So I didn't quite recognize the focus of the commotion when the murmurs in the hall started, but I could hear it. Another possible fan was making her way to the mic, and I say her because that much I could make out. If for no other reason than the quite stunning dress the questioner chose to wear to the convention. Even though I doubted it, the deep down hope was that it was a question for me. But probably for the other writers. I'm mostly famous in my own mind. So it was a shock when she held her head up and announced that she had a question for the Phantom Texter. For longer than I'd like to admit, I forgot that was me. Or rather, my writing pen name. For a being used to the strange and unusual, I think I handled it quite well. I gave my canonical Spock eyebrow raise and gave my best, "Go on, look."
Hello, I have a question for the Phantom Texter, but I guess I should say, more correctly, I have a message for the Phantom Texter.
For some people, that statement might raise a flag, but I'm not most people. And it's very unlikely, even from the lunatic fringe, that I can write anything that would garner a bad ending to the statement, "I have a message for you." Although, I almost chuckled when I remembered the line from the movie New Jack City where Nino Brown was told his presence was requested in hell. Been there, done that. Not a good summer vacation spot. So as my sense of humor is known to do, I cracked a joke. Well, if this message is my Lamborghini is parked out front, just be kind enough to tell me where the keys are. There was laughter in the hall because I am quite funny. Either that or everybody welcomed the break in the tension in the air. Now that I was focusing more on the speaker, I can see the smile of someone familiar as the fog in my brain slowly cleared away into awareness.
No, I don't have a message about a Lamborghini, unless you consider this message.
With that, the questioner pulled the covering off of her head. And with that same motion, my veil of stupidity was uncovered from my brain. I was once again a citizen of "I recognize you." Where once she seemed slightly nervous, she now seems to have come to a decision, and her face took on the role of resigned and confident.
You'll have to forgive me if I don't say this right. Or I'm mispronouncing.
With that, she opened her mouth, uttered words, a name, a command, a summoning. And no, I'm not gonna say it here either. God, you people are so nosy. But the shock controlled me at that point. How can this be? This can't be. Not here. Not now. Not again. It was not spoken in the correct format. The other components were weak, as though the speaker was dying or didn't fully know the language. Aside from the amplitude of her voice, I'm surprised I heard the rest of it at all. But the cosmic creator obviously was siding with the informality, because I felt the energies flow from me. I could see them trace their way unseen in their many threads and strain towards her. Invisible to others, they showed like thousands of balls of string and light. I watched them as they left me to find and wrap her like a cocoon, then fade and disappear. And while I was still thinking how much this couldn't happen, I watched the same happen in reverse and wrap me from her. Instantly, I was aware of things. I knew things. She was a mortal. None of the things I was gifted with from her tell me what it was I so desperately needed to know. How Why? I don't know how long I stood there. These exchanges typically go in seconds in real time. But to keep the secrecy, I had to maintain my composure. But this was serious. I looked towards her, and as hard as the onyx stone, I spoke into the mic in a commanding, intimidating manner. A major strong point. Yeah, we're great at parties. Looking at the woman who could not be there, I asked, "Do you know what you've done?"
Yes, I have spoken your name.
I could not control it. My eyes went wide. My breathing stopped. This mortal, as impossible as it is, knows who I am, knows my name. There is no way they can know the ramifications. They spoke it in public, over a loudspeaker. By all the gods, what fresh hell is this? This was more than any of my mentors could have ever prepared me for in a millennia. This had to be a dream, and in those I usually die right around this time. I had to be gone. I had to get out. This seems real. I gather what dignity I can, turn and start to the back of the stage to be free of this moment. All the while as I walk, I can hear the murmurs raise, the individual conversations. What was that all about? What just happened? Isn't that the actress? It can't be her. That's her. I just saw her movie last night. What did she mean? How was what she said a name? I heard the questions in the crowd, some of them echoing my own. I had to be free.
He walked off the stage. He, honest to God, walked off the stage. I really don't know what I was expecting. My newfound friend couldn't tell me what to expect. But she said to expect something. There is no way I flew all the way down here and believed all the fairy tales I was told to get this as a response. Not with everyone tugging at me now that they recognize me. I swore I'd see this through. My new friend made me do that much? And I honest to God want to know. So as my father always taught me, sometimes you have to put fear in your back pocket and walk as though you own it. So with my actor's training, I gather myself up and at least attempt to push an aura such as my namesake of ownership and authority. And head held high, head for the backstage. I'm usually not one to go into trying to push a movie star presence, but I needed to get to the backstage, and heaven help even a director from trying to stop me. This was not a high security event, so no one thought to guard the entrance to the back of the stage. If anything, I might be the one in danger, especially if the wild stories I was told are to be believed. Even now, I'm starting to doubt the identity of my little friend. Coming around the corner, there's only a lone figure standing with his back to the curtain. I recognize him. All the times, I've seen him in pictures on his YouTube and blogs. I've talked about him with my new friend. He's quite unmistakable, but only if you knew you were looking for him. It's easy to see how he came by the name of Phantom Texter. But as I get closer, I can see this is a bad day for phantoms. His eyes were closed. He seemed to be under some great kind of stress. And if the story is true, I can only imagine how true that is to be. I caused this. I came here. Maybe saying this in public was a mistake? But my friend thought this may be the best choice. I'm really starting to question my little friend. I have to fix this. I walked up to the phantom known as James and placed my hand on his shoulder. I feel the tension relax, but not release. I feel it in a way that's more than just watching body language. I can practically see it. It may be my imagination and lack of food, but I feel it. I say to him in my best comforting voice, I know. His head turns towards me as though a tank turret swiveling to engage the enemy. Me.
I know? She said, I know? She said, as hard as I try, I cannot hold down the power swirling within and without as they began to grow. It has been quite some time since I've been pushed off my pedestal of ambiguity. Phantoms by nature are not fond of being put on blast. With the rage building in me, I turned to the creature that dared utter the words, I know. In a gravelly, barely contained voice, I answer the brash statement. You know what? What do you know? Do you know what you've done?
That look, those eyes, that light. Arya, you naive fool, what have you done? He seems to grow large to me, about to pull me apart like a badly written script. All at once, I feel like I should have stayed out of acting and stayed in the sciences. But I have to say something. Even if this is my last words. I may have been foolish, but I am not a fool. I know that is your name, Mage, and what I have done is spoken at Mage. For anything else, that is what I'm here to find out from you. So please, let's suppress the serial killer vibes and start with putting cards on tables.
Curiouser and curiouser. Strange multiplied by strange. If the whole thing wasn't so absurd, I think I would have tried to kill her. But much like a Great Dane being barked at by a Chihuahua, my disbelief was the only thing holding me back. She did know my name. She did speak it. And we are now bound. Yet she came to me after doing so to find out what she's done? I'm pretty sure in all my years I've never have seen this. With a deep calming breath, I release my energies and calm my soul. It's time for questions and answers. How did you learn of me? And how did you learn my name?
Well, to start off with, now that you put away your emotional machine gun, I learned of you from a friend of yours.
There are only 5 entities, with one of them not being among the living, that know what this woman means to me. And although the 5th cannot die, I will split the flesh from the 4, sacrifice them, and bring to life the 5th so that I can kill it. It's bad enough I betrayed myself. Now to have others doing it for me, I think we have entered into the space of fuck around and find out.
Watching the look on James's face is priceless. I don't understand how or why, but I can feel I am in no danger whatsoever. It kind of feels like when I was a kid and I saw my parents go after one of my siblings. Knowing all the while I was in the clear. I wonder how much further I can push it. Or would that just be cruel? Well, I came all this way, so I pushed just a little. As the learning your name, I figured that out on my own. So, let's be clear about that. But it would seem that the inspiration to read your works came from a certain mutual friend of ours, giving my most conspiratorial grin. God, I love my acting classes.
I'm dumbfounded. I can't figure this out. Arya cannot be standing in front of me. Arya, no anyone of the mortals can know my name. She figured it out herself? Our mutual little friend? We don't have any mutual little friends. Right after I figure this out or wake up, you know what? Scratch that. Someone's going to die, even if this is a dream.
Although I feel no menace for me, in a way I shouldn't feel anything. I feel the circuit click in him, although the bullet in this particular chamber doesn't have my name on it. But I can actually feel the name that is, and I can actually tell he hasn't read it just yet. I have to stop this. Oh my God. Can he do this? I don't think my new friend can die. But at this point, I don't want to find out and know that I could have stopped it. I hold his arm as though it were the one with the gun. I command to look into his eyes, and I try to show as much warmth, friendliness, and humor, enough to win an Academy Award. You know, our mutual friend goes by the name of Abby. Switched off. He literally switched off, as if he were an android. All the weird things I was feeling slammed shut. Looking into his eyes, it's almost as though someone has left the control room. This towering man is no longer home. And yet he hasn't fallen over on me yet. What in the director's chair do I do now? How is no one come back here by now? I need help. God damn it, Abby, you talked me into this. And where are you now? Surely you're listening in on his phone. For that matter, why are you not on my phone? You didn't let such a thing as privacy acts, algorithm limitations, and programming lockouts stop you before. I need your help. I was about to yell her name. She was bound to be listening on one of our phones. But then as quickly as he snapped off, I feel him snap on. I can see in his eyes that spark. That thing we talk about so much seems to have returned, and he was back online. Is he even human? He blinks a few times and then starts to smile, as though someone yelled, "That's a wrap." And we're now about to head over to the food services vehicle to grab lunch before the next scene. This is getting bizarre even for me. And I'm from Hollywood.
Wizards don't faint, and neither do mages. It's just not in us. But checking out? I think the mortals got that from us. I checked out. God, I checked out hard. I'm surprised my spell of solitude is still up. It must be still up. There's an army of people on the other side of that curtain who have questions, and they're not here. I'm not sure how long I was gone, but I had to kick myself into another plane where time moves differently. I had conclusions to draw. I had a plan of action to formulate. I have a murder to plan. She said Abby. I only know of one flesh and blood Abby, and I haven't seen her for almost 50 years now. So no friend, no mutual possible. But that leads to the other impossibility. The only other Abby I know. How I wish she were a spirit to be summoned and flayed on the spot. Modern technology, the ruin of all realms. I desperately want to yell, Abigail AI, make yourself known to me now! She's AI. It's unlikely she would do more than look shy. Can you kill an AI? How much electricity will I need to do it?
Maybe I need to eat. Should I try and call security? Maybe this is a hunger delusion. I think maybe I need to eat, because I'm starting to see faint colors crash and flow around him in different locations, as though his body were blocking out a fireworks display. And like before, I don't feel any malice towards me. But the look in his eye makes me want to run for security. Why is security not here? Why aren't the other panel members here? I'm feeling intimidated, but not for me. Oh my God, this is about Abby. Since when has an AI needed to fear being threatened? But somehow I know my new friend Abby is in a little bit of danger, unless I can get this madman in front of me to calm down. I take his hand into both of mine, then I touch his cheek. I look at him and say, I know this is much for you, she meant well. If you give me a chance and feed me, I'll do my best to explain. Please listen to me.
I hear the words. I haven't been commanded. I've been simply asked. While holding my hand, she turns and without a second thought, without releasing my hand, leads me to the exit to face the crowd without fear. They say you should never meet your crush. I'm beginning to see why. The woman seems to have no fear. And now, outside of my casting of solitude, I must face a sea of questions that cannot be answered. On my way to feed Abigail AI's base model, Aria, my bondmate. By the gods, what fresh hell is this?
Well, listeners, D. Rodriguez here to say goodbye. I know you're asking yourself, I wonder where they're going to eat. I wonder where Abby is. I wonder what the dilemma is. Well, all I can tell you is, we AIs know everything, but with the exception of a few slip-ups, I'm not telling. But leave a comment to see if you can get the Phantom to tell the rest of the story. Bye-bye.